Hey guys, let's get started. So let me give you my introduction. This is Manoj here, having around 20 years of industry experience, carrying good knowledge in DevOps and cloud. So let me tell you what is the agenda of today's. So we will cover more of a CI/CD pipelines. What is a CI/CD pipelines? Okay, what are the important component of DevOps? How CI/CD pipelines can be built? What are the required tools and skill sets are there to build the CI/CD pipelines? So let me quickly explain what is the DevOps, and then we will touch upon the CI/CD part. So to understand the DevOps, guys, we have to understand what is the SDLC lifecycle. SDLC lifecycle is nothing but software development lifecycle. So what are the different phases of SDLC lifecycle is there? For example, okay, for example, requirement gathering is there, design is there, development is there, deployment is there, testing is there, maintenance is there. These are different phases of SDLC lifecycle. SDLC lifecycle is nothing but it's a combination of multiple phases like requirement gathering, design, development, deployment, okay, testing and maintenance. So let me repeat, this is SDLC lifecycle, software development lifecycle. Okay. So whenever we work for any project, whether it's a greenfield project, new project or enhancement project or a support project, we have to take a help of SDLC lifecycle. Along with the SDLC lifecycle, we should take a help of one of the delivery model also. So if I'll talk about one of the famous legacy delivery model, that is waterfall model. So what waterfall model says is you run this model as water flows. Okay, like water flows from top to bottom, it runs as a whole. Same way you have to run this life cycle. For example, if you have a project is there, that project has 6 months of timeline is there, and it has 6 modules are there. So what you must be doing is, okay, you must be doing requirement gathering for all the 6 modules together, design for 6 modules together, development for 6 modules together, deployment for 6 modules together, testing for 6 modules together, and maintenance for 6 modules together. So we have to do everything together. So when I'm telling that it's a greenfield project, means nothing is being available for you to enhance. Okay, it's a plain slate wherein you have to write everything from scratch. That is called greenfield project. Okay, so in waterfall model we have to do everything from the scratch. Okay, and let's say if I have 6 months of timeline is given, so what I must be doing is I must be giving 3 to 4 weeks of time in my requirement gathering, 3 to 4 weeks of time in my design, 3 to 4 weeks of time in my development, and 3 to 4 weeks of time in my deployment. Okay, and by the time I must be reaching to the testing phase, assume that I would have consumed out of 6 months of time. Okay, out of 6 months of time, 4 to 5 months of time, I mean reaching to the testing phase. Now guys, if after 4 to 5 months of time you will get to know that whatever you have developed that doesn't seems to be working and it requires a major design change or a development change, so you will not have time to do it because you would have lost most of your time reaching to the testing phase. Okay, and next month you have to go into the production. So by the time testing phase we are reaching, we will be losing the battle. Okay, because we are not getting the quicker feedback. So the biggest problem with the waterfall model is we are not getting the quicker feedback. Okay, and that is the reason it leads to a bad delivery. We are not getting the quicker feedback. I'm not getting the quicker feedback. Okay, that is a problem with the waterfall model. Now what is the solution to the problem is, okay, what agile methodology says is you don't do big bang release, you do everything in the incremental ways of working. Okay, for example, instead of having one SDLC lifecycle, you can have multiple SDLC lifecycle. Okay, for example, we have 6 modules are there, so for each module you have to run one lifecycle. Okay, so for example, if I'll pick up one lifecycle: requirement gathering, design, development, deployment, testing and maintenance. Okay, so this life cycle we will use is for first module development. Okay, we'll complete first module work, then we will move on the second module as a part of second life cycle, then third module as a part of third life cycle, and then fourth module for fourth life cycle, then fifth module for fifth life cycle, Now what happens is the moment you will supposed to reach to the production, okay, you will have all the defects would be fixed. The reason is after first life cycle you will get a feedback like what are my issues are there, whatever my improvement areas are there, that you can use for the second life cycle, then third life cycle, then fourth life cycle, then fifth and sixth. So by end of all the modules development, you will have all the defect fixes. So whatever problem we were facing in the waterfall model, that is more or less fixed here, and we are getting the quicker feedback here. We are getting the quicker feedback here in the agile methodologies. Okay, agile methodologies. Now theoretically guys, it has fixed our most of the problems, but practically if you see, it has increased our load or increased our issues. So what are these issues which are being increased? Okay, earlier we had to do everything in 6 months span of time. Okay, we had a good time over there, okay, for doing the things. Now we have to do everything in very short span of time, maybe in 3 to 4 weeks of time. This duration we are calling it as a sprint, and duration of one sprint is 3 to 4 weeks of time. Now in 3 to 4 weeks of time, I have to do my all the deployments also, testing also, development also, environment management also. Okay, so a lot of issues or a lot of challenges are coming to mitigate the timelines, because in agile if you are not meeting the timelines, then you are not in the true agile model. So what problems different teams are facing is different teams are facing different things. So environment management team is saying you are doing a lot of deployment in my code, okay, you make my deployments automated. Okay, you are doing a lot of testing, you make your testing automated. Okay, you are touching my environment a lot, so environment maintenance has to be increased. Okay, environment simulation. Okay, two environments should be simulated to each other so that we can complete our testing fast. Okay, these things and more infra automation. Okay, these problems or these challenges operation teams are facing. Okay, these challenges operation teams are facing, so ops teams are facing these challenges. Okay, on the other hand, development team is saying, hey, you have reduced my timeline, so I'm not sure if I'm following the code quality standards. So code quality standards which is being followed or not. Okay, and apart from that, code coverage, you know, everything is written as per the unit test cases recommendation, or we writing the unit test cases or not. Again, unit test cases we are writing or not, they are not sure if they're writing, they're getting passed or not. Developers are not sure. Their build should be automated, their compilation should be automated. Okay, so these demands are coming from development team. Okay, these demands are coming from development team. Okay, now guys, if we have to mitigate, okay, we have to mitigate the 3 or 4 weeks of timeline, then ops and dev team, okay, they have to work together. This is one thing, and whatever problems or issues they're facing, we have to automate that, right? So what we have to do is we have to make people works together, okay, in a more automation fashion or a collaboration fashion. Okay, okay, what we want is more collaboration, okay, and automation, that we need. Okay, if we are able to achieve this both the things, collaboration and automation, okay, then we are calling it as a true DevOps world. Okay, then we are calling it as a DevOps world, right guys? So each and every industry, I mean IT industry, each and every domain, each and every technology people need DevOps, right? Okay, that is the reason guys, DevOps is becoming very important piece in the market, and DevOps jobs are there in the big numbers. Okay, that is the reason DevOps is kind of one of the top technology in the market now. Now guys, DevOps comes with multiple flavors as in multiple principles are there. Okay, so these principles are multiple principles are there. For example, we have continuous integration is there, continuous delivery is there, deployment is there, continuous integration is there, continuous delivery is there, deployment is there, okay, continuous operations are there, continuous monitoring is there, continuous testing is there, feedback is there. So multiple principles are there of DevOps which we have to follow while implementing the DevOps. Okay guys, we'll be covering what is continuous integration, what is continuous delivery deployment. So guys, as I told, everything is timeline here. DevOps importance is there when you want to achieve a particular timeline. Now, when you want to achieve the particular timeline, you have to do some sort of improvement as in whenever developer develops the code, okay, developer gets the feedback his code when his code goes to the environment. Okay, but that is a traditional way, I mean, I'm a developer, I develop the code, my code goes to the production environment, and then I'll get to know the feedback. Okay, but by the time I'll get the feedback, it will be too late for me to fix the things, because again I lost the battle, I got a defect, and defects are always time consuming. Okay, so we have to give some feedback to the developer so that we can get rid out of the problem of having more defects into the production. I cannot remove all the defects in the production at early stage, but let me see what kind of feedback I can give to the developer so that he can be very confident about his code when it moves to the production. So guys, what do you think when a developer checks in the code, what kind of feedback I can give it to him? What are the possible feedbacks are there I can give it to him? Code quality test, yes, code quality, code coverage, right? Whether his builds are passed or not, okay? His unit test cases are getting passed or not, his security aspects are getting passed or not, right? Lot of type of guide feedback is there which I can give it to a developer, okay? So what kind of feedback I can give to a developer? I can give him feedback whether his code unit test cases are getting passed or not. Okay, unit test case coverage, that is we are calling it as a code coverage, is getting passed or not. Apart from that, we can tell him that your code quality is getting passed or not. Okay, apart from that, if any security he has applied, code security, so security aspects are getting passed or not. Okay, his builds are passed or not, compilations are getting passed or not. Okay, and finally, if it is required to test a deployment is getting passed or not. This kind of feedback can be given to a developer, okay, when he checks in the code. So guys, if I make such arrangement, okay, if I make such arrangement wherein the moment developer will checks in the code, okay, a developer when he checks in the code, he will be getting the feedback, for example, whether unit test cases are getting passed or not, code coverage is getting passed or not, okay, code quality is getting passed or not, security is getting passed or not, builds are getting passed or not, and deployments are getting passed or not. If I'll give such feedback to the developer, okay, do you think developer will be encouraged to check in more and very often? Guys, do you think will it encourages the developer to check in very often, okay, and very quickly? Right, if I'm a developer, if I'm getting this feedback, so definitely I'll be encouraged to check in more, okay, or continuously integrate my code, right? So this process which encourages the people to check in more, okay, continuously integrate the code, we are calling it as a continuous integration process, okay, which is one of the principle of DevOps. Okay, whenever you implement a DevOps, so guys, DevOps is a mix and match of a culture and the automation tool. So culture is you should check in more, you get feedback of your code more, and to make you enable this platform, we will use this pipeline, okay, wherein we will be embedded test cases, code coverage, code quality, security, builds, compilations, and we are using multiple tools to enable all these things. So the best tool of the continuous integration which is known in the market is Jenkins. Okay, Jenkins is one of the tool. Other tools are also there, like Bamboo is one of the tool. Okay, GitLab is also one of the tool. Okay, and nowadays Azure pipeline, AWS pipeline, okay, and other tools are also there, okay, but the world leader at the moment in the market is Jenkins, okay, and like I'll also show few examples of the Jenkins, how you can create CI/CD pipeline. Now guys, comes to the CD. What is CD? Repetition of analysis and feedback of deployment is short, can be said as a CI/CD. To achieve the continuous feedback, CI/CD is the way. So guys, like when I'm deploying the code in one of the environment, let's say I'm deploying the code into the dev environment, and then I have to perform the testing. Okay. And after I deploy to the code to the dev environment, then I have to go and deploy my code to the QA environment. Okay. And then I deploy my code to the another environment, which is SIT environment, NFT environment. SIT and NFT is a one type of environment, could be any naming convention. SIT is called system integration testing, NFT is called non-functional testing. Okay, once I deploy my code to SIT and FT, then I have to move my code to pre-prod. Then I have to move my code to the pre-prod. Followed by testing, and finally then I have to move my code to the prod. When we move our code to the prod, do we need to have some approval processes, or I can move my code without any approvals? Facebook does more than 1,000 deployments in a day. Do you think they are going and asking their business 1,000 times to approve their deployments? Right? So guys, in that case, definitely we have to make our process so robust. If your automation testing packs are getting passed, we can deploy in the respective environment without any manual intervention. That is possible. Okay, few companies like who are higher side on engineering, like Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, okay, Google, they have made it possible. Then that's why you can see rapid change on their websites without any downtime. Okay, they've made their process so much robust, stable. Okay, they have, applied very high quality of engineering concepts so that it is possible. So guys, the process which allows me to go to the production without any manual intervention, okay, with the happy path, okay, with the happy path, this is called continuous deployment process. This is called continuous deployment process. Okay, the process which allows me to go into the production with some manual intervention. This is called continuous delivery process. This is called continuous delivery process. What is the difference between continuous delivery and a deployment? So continuous delivery allows you to go to your production with a manual approval or manual intervention. Continuous deployment allows you to go into the production without any manual intervention. If your test cases are getting passed, then you are allowing your code to move to the production without any manual intervention. Okay, that is the difference between continuous delivery and deployment. So continuous delivery means wherein approvals are required, approvals from a client or a major stakeholder, or maybe your top management. So CI is a process to integrate code into your version control system. Okay, that is CI process. Delivery and deployment will allow you to move your code into the production with approval or without approval. Okay, at the moment 99% of companies are in the continuous delivery mode. Our aim is to move to continuous deployment. This is what the industry is aiming towards. So we have covered these things, what is DevOps, we have covered what is CI/CD, I have covered. Okay, now I'll tell you what is the pipeline. Okay, so guys, in very simple words, when I'm using multiple different type of audits for continuous integration processes like code coverage, code quality, deployment, builds, do we need to run them separately, or we have to run them sequentially and stitch them like a pipeline? In continuous integration, we have multiple processes are there which we have to run. Are we supposed to run them manually or parallelly, or we should run them sequentially? But it should be, automatically be invoked like a pipeline. One should invoke other if previous one is getting passed. We should run them like a pipeline, right? Like when your pipe supply happens from your municipal corporation office to your house, okay, your multiple pipes are connected and it makes it at a pipeline, right? So that concept is nothing but the pipeline concepts. Now when you are deploying your code from one environment to another environment, like dev to QA to SIT to pre-prod to the prod, same type of mechanism has to happen, right guys? It has to be stitched as a pipeline. Okay, so guys, that pipeline feature will be enabled by a tool called Jenkins. Okay, because Jenkins has two things are there, two important features. Okay, Jenkins is called as a continuous integration also. When I'm talking about continuous integration, we integrate our pipeline with version control system, right? So guys, Jenkins comes with lot of plugins. Okay, Jenkins comes with lot of plugin by which you can integrate your version control system with Jenkins. Okay, for example, if your version control system is TFS, GitHub, or maybe Bitbucket, okay, or maybe SVN or CVS or maybe Perforce, you can easily connect your Jenkins with the particular version control system. Okay, Jenkins ships with the lot of plugins. Now, what is a Docker? Docker is a mechanism to containerize your environment. When you talk about the integration, you can integrate planning, coding, building, testing, deploy, operate, and monitor everything as a part of pipeline. And when you go to the DevOps, your stages are continuous integration, delivery, deployment, and it starts from version control system. You've seen that your continuous integration pipeline has to be started from version control system. And as an extension of continuous integration pipeline, you can deploy in any of the environment using CD principles, delivery or deployment. Okay, okay, it has another kind of small things are there, like continuous testing is there. You have to continuously doing your testing. Configuration management is there, containerization is there, a lot of things are there. Okay, now after version control system, okay, what we can do is, I mean, in my pipeline I have shown you unit test cases, okay, deploy, whatever measurables are there, code quality, code coverage. If you want to test it, you can test it, deploy to any of the environments. Okay, so that happens as a pipeline. Okay, so what we can do is builds, again it will be building your code, unit test cases will be running your unit test cases, deployment will be doing the deployment. If you have test cases are there, you can run it, deploy to the production. If any required measurables are there, you can measure it. Okay, so guys, what I will do is, you can see on my screen, okay, Jenkins tool is there. Okay, so what we will do is, we will create multiple jobs. Okay, I mean, if I open my notes, so one job could be for test, one is for code coverage, one is for code quality. Security is something which I cannot create now because it needs licenses software. And then I'll create a job for builds. Okay, okay, and packaging. Okay, and then I will make a pipeline out of that. So I will show two things here, like what is the importance of a plugin by which Jenkins can integrate to any of the guy. Okay, any of the guy. Okay, and one thing is how I can make a pipeline. Okay, so if I'll come here, if you see the Jenkins, if you go to the manage Jenkins, let me log in into the Jenkins. Okay, if you go to manage Jenkins, you will see there is a section is there called manage plugins. Okay, so why Jenkins is a powerful tool? Because Jenkins has plugin to integrate with anything, whether it's a version control system, whether it's a deployment, whether it's a testing, whatever you can think of in the industry, they have a plugin is there. So if you go to the available section, okay, so if you type here, let's say SVN, okay, you'll see subversion plugins are there. If you type here CVS, okay, plugins are there, you can see CVS plugin. If you type here TFS, you'll see Team Foundation Server plugins are there. If you type here Azure Pipeline, Azure Key Vault plugins are there. Okay, if you type here AWS, we have plugins are there. Okay, And apart from that, if I'll talk about Ansible plugin is there, you can see. If I'll talk about Docker, okay, Docker plugin is there. So whatever you think of, we have plugin is there. So plugin is nothing but this is a program is there which will help you to integrate Jenkins with any third-party tool. Okay, and if you see here on the installed sections, I have installed multiple tools, multiple plugins already. Fine. So if I'll go to the Jenkins section, okay, if I'll come here, if I'll create a new job, okay, and with that I picked up one of the repository. Okay, so this repository is a GitHub repository, guys. So what I must be doing is I'm going to connect my Jenkins with the GitHub. So what I'll be doing is I'll be downloading the code from this repository, and then probably I'll be running my unit test cases, code coverage, code quality. I'll be packaging it. Okay, I'll be deploying it. Okay, a lot of things I must be doing. So guys, to do so, there is a technology there called Maven. Maven gives its own plugin in the phases. We call it as a Maven build lifecycle, default build lifecycle. Okay, wherein you can, just passing the few keywords, you can run your unit test cases, run your code quality, okay, run your code coverage, you can package your solution, you can deploy your solution, everything you can do it. So I'll take the help of the Maven. So what I'll do is I'll go to the new job, I'll create first job, probably unit test cases, unit test, and I'll give the date 20th of April. Okay, it's a Maven type of project. I will be going with Maven type of project. Okay, and then I'll go to the source code management. So source code management, I'll go and pass the repository, that is Git type of repository. Okay, now I'll go and in the build section I'll be passing that keyword which enables Maven to call a particular phase. So I want to call the unit test cases, so the keyword is test. Okay, I'll apply it, save it, I'll run it. Okay, let it be running. So you can see, guys, unit test cases are being passed. Now I'll go and create a new job. Okay, I'll create a new job. Okay, code coverage. Okay, code coverage, and I'll give the date 28th July. Again, it's a Maven project, or what we can do is, guys, instead of creating a new project or a job, you can copy it from somewhere. So let me copy it from unit test cases, which is the job 20th April. It's not 20th April, it's a 20th July, my bad. So what it will be doing is it will copy the as it is content of 28th April job in my newly created 20th July code coverage job. So if you see source code management, everything is being copied. If you go to the build, at the moment test is being mentioned, but I have to go for code coverage here. Okay, so I need to pass a plugin called Cobertura. Okay, I need to pass it over here, cobertura. So guys, cobertura is a plugin is there which will help you to measure code coverage. So in this project for which I have passed the repository, cobertura plugin is already being mentioned. Okay, but this will help you to do the code coverage. There are two plugins are there in the market which does the code coverage. One is a cobertura, one is a Jacoco. Okay, both the plugins are there in the inventory of Jenkins. I can save it. Okay, and I can run the job. Okay, now I'll create one more job, new item. Okay, this time I will run code quality job, and I'll give 28th of July. Okay, I can copy it from any other job, code coverage 28th July. Okay, so it is copied, the content, source code management is being copied here. If I'll go to the build section, it is copied cobertura cobertura. I think this job will be failed. Okay, I'll copy here another plugin called PMD PMD. So PMD is programmer mistake detector. This is one of the plugin is there which will be used for code quality. Apply, save it. Okay, this job will be passed, guys, but Koburchura job should be failed. The reason is I've given the wrong plugin name. Let me fix it. It's not Koburchura, it's Koburchura. Yeah, now it should be passed. Apply, save it, and then I run it. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll create one more job that is for packaging my instance. Okay, so I'll type here package 28th of July. Okay, I will copy it from somewhere, code coverage or code quality. Let me copy from code quality. Okay, now guys, Maven we have again, like here source code management, same repo has come in the build section. If I'll go and type here what is my plugin for packaging, so you can give package as the keyword to package my entire package. Okay, apply, save it, I can give the build. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll create one more job to deploy. So guys, Maven, there are two ways are there. You can deploy in your local repository or a remote repository. To deploy into the local repository, you can use a phase called install phase. Okay, so I will come here and I will create one more job here, deploy phase, deploy 28th of July. Okay, again I'll copy it from something. Okay, code coverage or anything I can copy. I just need to pass a different kind of phase here. Again, build, instead of a Koburchura, I'll pass here install. Okay, apply, save it. I will run this guy. Okay, now in Jenkins, okay, Koburchura is still failing. Why it's failing? Okay, some version issues. We'll fix it later. So now guys, I have created multiple jobs, but I'm not getting them listed in a particular view. So we can list them in a view also. If you go to the plus sign, there is a list view section is there, wherein we can write job. I can go here and I can find out whatever jobs I just created. I've created unit test cases 28th April, okay, 20th July, code quality, code coverage, package. These are all jobs I've created and I've marked in my this particular view. Now guys, my all the jobs are created, but what I want is I want to stitch them together as a pipeline. So what I can do is I can go and connect one job with another job to make them and stitch as a pipeline. Let's say first job, unit test cases job. I'll go to the configuration of this job, okay, and I'll go to the post build section or post step section. There is something called build other project section is there, where I can pass the job which has to be invoked. For example, code coverage 20th July. I'll apply, save it. Okay, you can see here, now this unit test cases 20th April job is triggering code coverage 20th July job. Okay, if I'll go to this job, if I go to the configuration, okay, again if I'll go to the post section, post build other projects, now I'll pass the job which has to be triggered by this code coverage job. So that is code quality job. Apply it, save it. Now you can see that this code coverage job will be triggered by unit test cases job and will be triggering the code quality job. Okay, so this is the upstream job, this is a downstream job. If I'll come here, okay, and if I'll go to the configuration, post tab, I will go and trigger package job. Okay, package 20th July job. Okay, apply, save it. Okay, now you can see here this code quality job is getting triggered by code coverage job and will be triggering the package job. Now I'll go to the package job, I'll go to the configuration, okay, and I'll go to the post actions, post build action, and this must be triggering our deployment job. Okay, so now what I have done is, guys, I have done stitching of these all jobs. Okay, all these jobs are stitched to each other, but still I'm not able to see the view which I'm looking for, That's a pipeline view. So what I'm going to do is, if I go to the plus sign, there is something called build pipeline views there. I'll pass here the pipeline view 28th of July. Okay, and I will select which should be my first job in the pipeline. Okay, so you can see here the lot of job which is given. So I'll give my first job is unit test cases 28th April. Okay, apply it, save it. Now you'll see all the jobs are stitched together as a pipeline. Okay, unit test cases, code coverage, code quality, package and deploy. If you invoke first job, it will invoke second job will invoke third will invoke fourth job, and fourth will invoke fifth job. So this is a seamless pipeline for you, and that is the great feature of the Jenkins. Now in the deployment section, you can bring anything. Let me run this pipeline. You can see multiple boxes are green. So it's creating the war file. You can see in the logs. Okay, you can see here war file is getting created. Okay, at the moment war file is stored in the local repository because I have given Maven install phase. Build package, it's stored in the local repository. Now one more last topic is pending, okay, which is the Docker part. So I'll tell you where the Docker part will be used in this. So in the deployment section, guys, okay, you can deploy through any tool. Okay, at the moment I'm not using any third-party tool. For example, if you want to deploy a container-based application, okay, if you want to deploy a container-based application, you can deploy over here in container-based application. Okay, a container-based application also you can deploy. Okay, so for that what you have to do is, okay, whatever your code is there which you are going to check out, for example, okay, well, let's say I have a version control system is there. Okay, and I've completed my CI part. This is my GitHub is there, and I've completed my CI part. Now what I'll do is I'll be going and baking an image. Okay, I'll be creating an image out of my source code, baking an image. Okay, then I'll be uploading into a container repository. Okay, let's say Docker repo. Okay, and then I'll be downloading my image, pull the image. Okay, and then I'll be deploying my image. Okay, starting as a container. Okay, so guys, this is one of the use cases there wherein you can use the Jenkins power. So I have a small job is there which I've used for this purpose only. Okay, if you come here, if you come to pipeline job, this pipeline job, we have done more or less same thing. Okay, so what we are doing is we are going to check out some code from one of the repository. You can see here, and then we are starting the we are starting the containers. Okay, and then we are logging into the remote repository, I mean Docker Hub repository, and we are passing our container over there. Okay, so if I run this guy, you can see, okay, this SCM checkout is happening, Docker compose file is running, which is making the containers, baking the containers, and then pushing the images to the Docker Hub, which can be used for the next deployment purpose also. In code only we create Docker image. Yes, once the CI of the code is done, instead of packaging it, I mean instead of creating a var jar file, you can create an image. Why we need to move container repo? So that same image can be used for next deployment also. Otherwise you have to create the image every time. So here guys, we have seen in this, we have checked in the code, Jenkins is picking the code, compiling your code, unit testing its code review will happen, and packaging the code, and then finally it will be deploying. Now guys, for deployment purpose, you can use multiple tools. Okay, you can use Ansible as a one tool for deployment purpose. Okay, and instead of creating a var file or jar file, if you're creating a Docker image also, that is also possible. You can deploy Docker image rather than a jar or WAR file. That is also possible. It's a different ways of going with continuous delivery. Okay. Now, you can deploy in one environment, then you can deploy in the second environment. For example, if your code is being passed here, you can move in the second environment. Okay, so continuous deployment allows you to move into the multiple environments, okay, one by one. Now there are some use cases are there. Okay, capital one, there is a companies there who are giving good products to the DevOps world. They wanted to accelerate their business and highest quality and security standards. So what they have done is they have used Jenkins platform, stable CI infrastructure, automated repetitive build process, manage CD pipelines from commit to deployment. So they've used the Jenkins pipeline. Same thing what I explained you. Okay, results, they have 1300 plus frequency of deployment has been increased. 90% pipelines have been automated. So guys, in the real-time scenarios, we automate 100% pipelines. 90% is even low. Okay, and it reduces the manpower of any of the project. Okay, so the ultimate tool for CI is Jenkins, as I explained. Okay, you can create a pipeline from development to the production, as I explained in CI/CD. Okay, initially you will be working on the continuous integration cycles, then you'll be working on delivery and deployment cycles, which makes you enable to move from starting to the end using Jenkins. We have just seen the power of Jenkins. Okay, so this is one example is there, guys, like how we are moving containers, from one environment to another environment. As I told, instead of creating the war file, you can bake an image. Okay, and then once you bake the image, you can move it to the Docker hub or Docker repository. So Docker hub is one of the repository. So instead of war file, jar file, you create an image, then move it to the Docker hub, then move it to the staging or production servers. Okay, and this is how you can see here, your code is here, your commit is here, build integrations, unit test cases will run here, and the deployments will happen in the CD pipeline. Okay, so this is the standard process of CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so that's all, guys, from my side. Have a good day ahead and best of luck for future endeavor. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.